Yo, station everybody. Welcome to Supreme Clientele on our new home on Tuesday nights. Episode 22 here, post Thanksgiving. Here on November 28th. Lynk, how you been, brother? How's your I know we just got started with this week. We're normally a little bit more in the middle of it, but how's your week been so far?
Sir. It's been good. Still, feeling the after residuals, the itis of left. I think I'm about done with my leftovers, bro. Yesterday, I kind of was like, you know what?
I feel you
this might be my last day.
Yeah, man.
But I usually get like
I did work though.
Then...
Yeah, I'm like proud of the work I did on the leftovers. You know what I mean? I mean, many like a mix-it bowl. I call it, like with the mash, the dressing, the meats, whatever you. I like the sliced ham. I've been making sandwiches with. Like I put my work in with the leftovers. But yeah, I'm there with you, man. I'm about done with it. But yeah. So yeah, moving on.
Like you said, good. But other than that, it's been a good week, man. How about you? Did you get any Black Friday shopping in?
Yeah, a little for the wife, dude. So I'm looking at it right now. I got to wrap it. I got her. I'm gonna be quiet so she doesn't hear it. I got her a latte machine. Yeah. So, well, she's been wanting it. She's been wanting something like that. So I think this one will serve her well. But yeah, be your own barista. It says on the side of the box. So I hope.
Man,
I hope it gives her that freedom and more. But yeah, hopefully we score some brownie points with that one, man. Looking.
Oh, you will.
She's a coffee fiend. Like she loves her coffee. So yeah, hoping that one works.
Cheers to that, you know.
Yeah. How about you, bro? Any Black Friday shopping on your end? I know I did see that you have a PS5 on the way.
Yes,
I'm hating on that. I'm gonna be open and honest. I'm hating on you. I got an Xbox. I got an Xbox One that I'm waiting on to die, and I'm watching everybody have fun on Spidey 2. Dude, Spidey 2 looks ridiculous. Oh my god.
That's, you know what, I don't like to claim either side, because I grew up. I had PlayStation 2. Then I started. I had an Xbox, but I only had an Xbox for like about a year before I got a 360. So I got my Xbox in like 2006. My 360 in 2007, and that's when I started kind of falling in love. Get acclimated to Xbox. I've always appreciated both, though. I never owned a PS3, unfortunately, but I did get a PlayStation 4, and the only reason I got a PlayStation 4 was because of Spider-Man at the time. So sorry, my dog's barking.
No, it's okay.
But I figured it's about that. I got a PlayStation 4 for Spider-Man. I figured it's just fitting that I just get a PlayStation 5 for Spider-Man too, So I just did it for Spider-Man, to be honest.
Dude, I'm not even mad at that. I mean, that seems like the proper choice. It's like I feel like Xbox has a decent amount of games, and we have I get the Game Pass because like the boys can really enjoy that. Like they play the 2 Paw Patrol games on that, and there's infinite amount of choices for like what is it, $17 a month. It's still overpriced, but at the same time, it's like I can rent an infinite amount of games for $17 a month versus paying for how much for one of them. So in that sense, I feel like they're kind of taking I feel like they got to be taking a hit on that profit wise with Game Pass. I feel like you can't be making that much money on that, because there's a crazy amount of titles you can rent and play without having to buy. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, but there's they don't release the details behind that. Like,
Yeah,
what do they
true.
pay publishers up front for? How long do they pay the developers or publishers to have access for their game? Because some games will leave Game Pass, once the licensing is up for their contract or whatnot. So they definitely are taking a hit, but Microsoft is the kind of company that can afford to take these types of hits. They keep ramping up on Game Pass. They just purchased Activision, one of their biggest acquisitions to date. So it's like,
Yeah.
stuff like that shows you they're not really worried about the hits they're taking with the Game Pass. I think it's a long-term play. They got to take some losses in order to kind of establish what they want to do with Game Pass.
Yeah, it's a full-on war, man. I don't know. The stakes are high too. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's interesting to see where it'll go.
I just love it all.
Do you think it'll always be the big three, like Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo? Do you think like one could fall by the wayside in the future? I feel like you know games better than I do. I'm not in the gaming world as much as you are. I feel like Xbox could.
Maybe
Xbox feels a little anemic lately.
Yeah, I don't think their focus has really been on both. It's like their focus is kind of really shifted towards like the Game Pass feature, making stuff streamable.
Yeah.
Like Xbox as a console, I could see them kind of, maybe other people have said it before, but I can see them going away with the Xbox console and just having a device that you just set up and you can play, whether you can connect it to your TV, your tablet, something, and you just play like what's available on Game Pass streaming. But at the same time, like Microsoft is a bigger company than Sony, like it's almost like Marvel and Disney and the Marvel Comics publishing. Like technically, the comic side isn't the most profitable, but because there's a core fan base and it's like a think tank, I feel like they kind of look at Xbox along those same lines, like keeping they want to they know there's something there when you have a hardcore fan base, especially for a video game. So I think they want to keep their foot in that puddle, I guess, But yeah, I don't. Nintendo's been around forever. Don't see anything happening to them.
Nintendo and PlayStation, I feel like, are too strong. They're too the Xbox is the only one I could see like doing something desperate or getting them. You know what I mean? I don't know. Get in a position where they're down bad because they're the only one that has appeared lacking, I guess, as of late.
But you gotta the reason I respect Xbox is that they've only been out a little over 20 years compared to like the Sony and Nintendo. So like Nintendo. So I think Fable was telling me like they're like older than anybody thinks they are. So for them to come out in 20 years and even
great point.
Go back to back with these larger dominant game companies, I think there's something to be said about that. But Sal said Microsoft owns Blizzard now, and they there's even I don't know, they're like I said, they're making long-term plays. Like say what you will about Call of Duty, but the game makes money every year. Every year since 2007, Call of Duty has been a top seller. This is going on 16, 17 years, man. So it's just, and that's more money in their pocket now that they own Call of Duty. Sony's gonna want to keep Call of Duty. And I think there's even talks for Call of Duty going to Nintendo Switch. So that's Microsoft has different ways of staying afloat. Like I don't think their focus will be that. I don't think they want to be the top spot with Xbox, but I think there will always be like a console around. But they're not pressed about being the number one selling console.
I feel like these guys find different lanes to excel in. Like Nintendo, PlayStation, they each find their own like little angle and do a good job at exploiting it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Nintendo, man, is definitely like, dude, Nintendo. You can always lean on for quality. It's going to be a good buy, especially for the family. Like Nintendo is going to come through for you.
Yeah.
Know.
Bro. That's what Nintendo's. It's really like the big two, I guess, and because Nintendo's in their own lane, bro. Like they're not. It's not even. They don't compete. They compete with themselves, and it's really like just Sony and Microsoft. They kind of go at each other's necks, but like Nintendo's just always been doing them, bro. So you got to respect it.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah, the OGs. Herm said, "I think once physical games is gone, I might retire with video games." I don't know why, man. Like why,
I
bro? I
get the
don't know.
trepidation behind that, but see, I switched to digital rather than physical about with the Xbox One was because at that point they were making you, even when you bought a physical game, you were still like with the 360, the PlayStation 2, PS3, you used to just pop the game in, play it, no problems. But when it got like to the Xbox One, PS4, even if you had the physical game, you had to install it. So I was like, I figured
Yeah, it's
why send myself the hassle of like going up to a store or waiting for the physical to come to me just to pop it in, and I gotta wait like an hour or two to install it when I can just download it from home, install it, and be done with the process. But I get the idea behind like you with digital, you never really own it. You're paying for the licensing, and that could be taken away at some point, and there it's pros and cons.
I do
You
too,
just
but
gotta pick
to
and
me,
choose.
like video games is not in the same realm as like CDs and other forms of physical media. Like a video game is like I think is better served in that type of like online streaming market where you can update
Yeah,
patches. It's a constantly streaming, flowing thing. I feel like handicapping it to physical media is good, and like you said, it has the pros and cons. But like, I don't view it as a big of a thing as like, dude. Ever since I've had my Xbox One, the only game I've had physically is Batman Arkham Knight. All the other games, like the games,
same
like my whole
same.
family,
Oh, no, that's not the only.
my whole family has played Hogwarts Legacy, and that's all on like we don't,
Digital.
yeah, digital. We don't have anything installed, and that doesn't. I like. I understand where he's coming from, but I don't know. He said I
No,
never
no,
owned an
no,
Xbox One.
yeah.
There's no games that I wanted except maybe the Buffer. Buffer is
Halo was
exclusive.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
I didn't even know about that one. Video games aren't one and done anymore. You always got to. That's what I'm saying, and it's like that's for the better. I feel like that's for the games better, and obviously that's to sometimes it's to its detriment when they release these games that aren't really ready. Really ready to be released because of the pressure of whatever, and then it all relies on patches and upgrades and stuff like that to get fixed. But
And that's a risk because it's like back then, you could put out a game, that was it. That was final quality. What you played is what you got, is what you get. But it's like now, even with you said like the updates, that can be a good thing, but it's like you got to have the fan base willing to stick out for that because there's been a few games that have come back. Like when they released, they were kind of shit tier, but they
yeah,
come back and they're solid games now. But some of them have lost people. Like you risk losing people not coming. Like I'm not going to come back and give that a chance. My first impressions are important. If they had a
absolutely,
sour
man.
taste in their mouth with the game, you risk them not coming back. So I get where they're coming at with that aspect, but I'm kind of on the side with you. Like I think it's just kind of its nature now. It's part of gaming essentially. Like the don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to justify it because they should release games as a final product when they're ready, and it shouldn't just be like, oh, in an update or two, it's going to be a good game. But I just feel like that's kind of part of the nature of gaming now. It's just evolved into that. That's something we gotta
Yeah,
get
absolutely,
used to.
man. And it's like, yeah, for better or for worse, I think. Like, but I don't know. I'm with that. I like how some games have those like expansion packs that build on something that you've loved, and like
Mhm.
Arkham Knight. I think it has like a cool
Yeah.
little Red Hood side story that you can purchase for a couple. Like, I think I got on, and they offer dumb crazy like sales, like with skins, and you know what I mean. You can get a bunch of
Oh,
skins and like the
right.
expansion pack for a good
I'm not
deal.
gonna. I bitch
Like,
about it, but I make hella microtransactions, bro. I bought all the DLC for Arkham Knight because I wanted to look like Batman Inc. I wanted to look like Batman
bro, are
Beyond.
you
I wanted to
kidding
look
me?
like
The
Christian.
Batman Beyond one was crazy. It was
Yeah,
crazy. Like,
yeah.
oh my god, all those
The way,
skins for that. Like, oh, yo, I
bro, I
used to
had
bitch.
to. I had
Like the Zurin R, I was like, yo, if I put on the Zurin R cape, I feel like I don't glide as well. I feel like because like it was all holy and patchy. Oh my god, dude. Yeah, I could talk about the skins all day. Like the skins are like give me as many skins as you want, honestly. Like, there's 1,000 different Batmans I
Yeah.
want to dress them up as and walk around like doing whatever. Like, that was
It feels so cool.
Yes,
It does.
absolutely. Like, to match whatever mood you're in for that day. Like, you can go animated, you can go like, and the Robin. I love how they have it for different characters. Like they had the new 52 Nightwing, like the red Nightwing or whatever. Like, that shit was
the Batman
dope.
and Robin costume.
Yeah.
You know, I never peeped that until years later. Like, it was like maybe 2017, 2016, because it was when he was making the transition from the red into the blue Nightwing costume. And I had seen someone write it like, oh, finally we're getting rid of the Batman and Robin costume. And I looked at it, I was like, yo, bro, that is the Batman and Robin costume just without the cape. You know, the one that Chris O'Donnell wore? The new 52 Nightwing costume is essentially just that. I had never realized that before. I was like, God damn it. But it looked cool. It looked cool.
Yeah, dude. It looked so cool. And like the Robin ones, you just get like, you're like, why am I getting like this into like Robin DLC? But yeah. Herm said I used to get all the DLCs for WWE 2K for all their extra wrestlers. Yeah, I was like, yeah, dude. They'll get you one way or the other. Like they get, and like they're like, damn, they're getting the deep cuts. Like they get the deep cuts, like, you know what I mean? Like the Dark Knight, like they'll fuck around, like the Dark Knight Returns one will pop up or something like that. Like they'll ones you're like, you're not ready for it. Oh yeah. All right, bro. I think we need to. I was going to talk to you about this backstage, but like, we need to start introducing. We should start talking about TV shows we're into before the comics.
Okay.
There's too many good shows out there. Yeah, but I think that's the idea for moving forward.
My Exa popped up. I don't want to say its name because she'll pop up again, but the one you recommended, I don't know if you recommended on the show, but I got one if you want to throw one up real quick.
Well, so right now I'm Murder at the End of the World on FX is fantastic. We're, I think, 4 episodes in, but it's got this Poirot like murder mystery type vibe to it, where people are dropping right and left. It's kind of like Clue, but it's so much more than that. I don't want to give too much away, but yeah, I think FX is putting out some of the best television like these days that's out there. Just really cool. From the Bear to like, yeah, man, they haven't really taken their foot off the gas, I feel like. But yeah, that one, and of course Scavenger's Reign on HBO Max, the animated sci-fi. That one's all out there, all complete. If anybody hasn't seen that one's fantastic. How about you, Will? You got a quick recommendation?
Yeah, I was gonna. I kind of wanted to since you a live action show. I'm trying to think. Have I been watching a new live action show? But animated wise, it's called Pantheon. It's I just kind of discovered that shortly after you told me about Scavenger's Reign, and they're both, and they're not similar at all, but they're similar in story or style, but they're similar in the aspect that they're cartoons, but clearly these were intended for adults, but not in the way like where it's, and I enjoy it, but not in like Spawn from HBO, something edgy like that, but it's just very mature storytelling. I guess it's kind of like Invincible, but with not as colorful and without the superheroes. Clearly Invincible is intended for a more mature audience. But I like that. I dig that, man. Like, I know anime tends to do it. It's like anime blends the lines, but American cartoons are kind of either super edgy or meant for children. These are like they're taking themselves seriously. I respect that. Almost a Gendy.
What's it on? Where can you find it? Where can the people find it?
Ooh, I think it is on AMC, which is it's once in a while AMC will have good shows that aren't a fit for their brand. But it's an odd fit. I don't know if it's still on AMC. I've been watching it illegally. But check it out on AMC, guys, if it's still on there. It's kind of like it's like the Matrix, but not like the Matrix. Like it deals with ideas of that, like digital constructs and and your essence being it's deep. Check it out.
Oh yeah, that sounds dope. Oh yeah. Invincible also has been great on Prime. Dude, Godzilla. Okay.
That is what
Okay.
yes,
All right.
okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Warren, because I meant to talk about this, and I know I'm sorry we're at 20 minutes in. We haven't talked about a comic book yet. But dude, I listened to the 2-hour Matt Fraction interview on Word Balloon podcast, and he's the showrunner on this new Apple TV Monarch Legacy of Monsters show, and they had the first episode up for free on Apple TV, and fuck, it's phenomenal. Like I don't have a subscription, but I want to now, and especially knowing Fraction's behind it. But yeah, Kurt and Wyatt Russell playing different like older and younger versions of the same character. Just like looks like a great human drama amongst a world of monsters. They have something called G-Day when Godzilla touched down, and you can see it's following these different characters who have been affected by kaiju in different ways. Dude, it looks phenomenal. Made me really think hard and twice about not having an Apple TV subscription, because how much of a fan of I am. I know you are as well of Matt Fraction, but yeah, that one looks very intriguing, and I think it's got 4 or 5 episodes now, or maybe even
right
more.
now. Yeah.
I
think they launched the first weekend they launched three episodes. They dropped like the first 3, and then it's been like 2 weeks since then. But no, this I forgot about this show, but it made me think of when I got to talk to Matt Fraction last year. But I had a Godzilla toy in my background, and he had made a reference to like the toy, and I didn't get it at the time because I didn't know he was like working on the Godzilla related show. But now I put 2 and 2 together, like, he was talking about his Godzilla show he was working on, so that's cool. But no, the show's been great, man. Like so far, I don't know, I didn't really know what to expect, and I could be a stan for certain people I like. I'm a little biased, but Matt Fraction's, I didn't know he was a showrunner. I thought just executive producer. Like I'm impressed, man.
No, yeah,
really impressed.
He made that distinction in the interview. It was like not like so. Fraction said in the interview he said it's been 5 years since he sent the date of the podcast, about 5 years since he sent the first email idea to Legendary, who owned the rights to that whole, what do they call it, Monsterverse or whatever.
The Monsterverse,
yeah. Just with the idea that he had, and it just kind of took off from there. But yeah, he talked about like meeting Wyatt and Kurt Russell at a restaurant, and like how close knit of a family they were, and how they met at a restaurant where it was Oliver Hudson's birthday or something or whatever, and the whole family was meeting there at the restaurant, and they were going to have dinner for him, and they were just having the meeting off to a side table real quick or whatever, and Kate Hudson came up, and she was like, "Hey, I'm Kate," and he was like, "Yeah, I know." Like he was geeking out. It was just like, I don't know, I just love, dude is so hilarious and just down to earth, and like just like one of my favorite creators, man. Like the guy, every time I hear the guy talk or speak or like in an interview, I'm like, man, I'd love to hang out with this dude. Like this dude seems like somebody I'd love to be friends with. You know what I mean?
He just emulates cool, bro. He can, even through his writing, he's cool, bro. And I've always dug that about him. Like, him and Remender kind of have those similar. Remender's a little bit more punk, but they both have that I don't give a fuck.
He's just as punk, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah, actually, yeah.
And then like Kelly Sue and the whole marriage, like he's like the epitome of cool, man. Like as far as comic book couples go, modern day, like who was fucking with them? Nobody. They are like,
hell yeah.
I mean, there's Walter and Louise Simonson. Don't get me wrong, but fuck, then there's Fraction and Kelly Sue, dude.
Yeah, hell yeah.
It's another level.
I like that. Okay. I'm gonna start going with that. I'm gonna start calling Fraction Kelly Sue the new.
And they're both
Simonson,
like, I love how they're both like. She's just had success with. she wrote that script for like that crazy weird Las Vegas production. I don't know if you knew about that. It's like some type of not Cirque. It's in the vein of Cirque du Soleil. It might be one of those productions, but yeah, she wrote the script for it, and it's been hugely successful in Vegas. And he's like, he talked. That's what Fraction said. He talked about like wanting to challenge himself to do something like this on this scale, and like having the confidence to do it. I don't know, man. More power to him. And then at the end of the interview, you find out like more Adventure Man with Terry Dodson is coming out. You know what I mean? It's like back to basics. And he talks about how he would love to write for Chip again, like they did in Sex Criminals, but Chip is too busy for him right now as the. He kept calling him the writer of Batman. As the writer of Batman. Yeah, but apparently they ran into him. They ran into each other on the New York street during Comic-Con, both promoting Batman and Godzilla, not like just haphazardly. It's so crazy, dude.
Yeah. I think that's so cool that I mean, that just the poetic nature of that, like Chip learned from one of the greats and became one of the greats, you know, like I think that's super cool. But yeah. I would like to see that. I'm very curious to see how they would collaborate on another volume of Sex Criminals now that, you know, Chip is an established name as a writer. You know, I feel like Chip is more well known as, well, obviously more well known as a writer than he is as an artist now. Yes. You know, so it's,
for sure.
That'd be an interesting dynamic.
And apparently that was in or close to being or like in ideas to be in production as a show. That was part of the conversation.
I would love to see it.
Yeah. That right?
Yeah, but it's like I don't know who would play them because every time I read the comic, I just imagine Fraction and Kelly Sue, so it's like I don't know. I if I saw a live action version, even if they were great actors, in my head I'd be like, that should be Matt and Kelly Sue. God damn it!
But I don't know. They're out there somewhere. It's just maybe a casting call across America. We can find them. Yeah, man. All right, let's get into the comics. You said you wanted to start off with Hack Slash, yeah?
Yes.
All right, dude. I thoroughly enjoyed this issue, much more than like the first one. I don't know. This one just had. Yeah. I love the art, where she went with the art in here. She went like Zoe went all over the place. And again, this is written in Zoe Thorogood. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
No, you're all right. No, I was just gonna say her like style is becoming one of my favorites. I tell people all the time, bro, like Apple TV, that's like one of my favorite streaming apps right now. Like they have quality over quantity. You know, they might not be a lot, but what's there is worth it. But Hack Slash Back to School, issue 2. This picks up with the origin, I guess, of, I forget her name, but our gal who runs this the slasher school, you know, it's something that's killing the children, but with serial killers, I guess, instead of monsters. But she was, I guess, I don't want to say the last girl, but she was in horror movies back in the day, and I guess she was the last girl. She was the final girl in this situation, and you know, we see how she got her little gash on her eye and why she wears an eye patch. She was bad. Look, I love the colors, bro, and the detail on the art. Like
it really is great, and I love how it goes abstract here on the bottom right. Like when she gets free, it goes like it goes to this whole different style for a minute, and then you get this great fucking chainsaw scene, dude. Freaking epic! Like gorgeous. It's so great. Like who else is putting out a page like that these days, man? That is totally unique and killer. I love that.
Just beautiful, bro.
It is.
But yes, she wakes up. She wakes up, sees some commotion going on in the school of hers, and this issue, long story short, is just our main star, our main protagonist. Yep, is Cassie. and she's trying to get acclimated to this school, I guess, and getting used to the swing of working with the team. She's just been her and Vlad for a number of years, but they get a ding for a mission, and it's happens to be like a ghost in the machine type of shit. They get sucked
And
into
it's
a
like a
video
take
game.
on like the toxic incel masculinity here with the frog boy thing and the whole play on that meme, right? Like this was funny though,
I
and this
love
was a really
the pixel.
cool change of pace. Yeah, and the art style changes, man, for like the third or fourth time in the issue. But
Yo,
it's dope.
can you go back a panel real quick? The page on the right where it's like she's pointing. For all my video game fans out there, that gave me like Phoenix Wright vibes, where he's like objection. But yeah, that was just a cool little thing. Not many people probably pick it. But it was, since it was video game related, I thought that was a kind of like something she slid in.
No,
But
for sure, bro. I'm
yeah,
sure there's
it's
like,
something.
dude, it felt like the thing there was like crazy subtle references with, though. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like the whole thing, whether it was like dialogue or like the visuals. But yeah, I loved it. I thought it was cool. It was something you could hang with whether you were kind of in on the joke or not. You know what I mean?
right,
Uh,
right. Yeah,
but yeah,
absolutely. But
yeah. Eventually, like, dude, just has like basically like has a violent suicide where he blows himself up.
They had to go. Someone was killing people by cutting them in half and hanging like on some saw shit, hanging their
Right.
halves. You saw the panel, but
Yeah.
so I guess it was the video game creator, and he was. I guess he wasn't happy with what the game required from him, so he somehow found like a portal that would take him to people who own the game, and he was killing players who play the game. It would like take him a portal that would take him to his house, to their house. And I guess I was a little confused with this ending, but I didn't mind it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I guess what I got from it was, once they found him, or the frog boy, our heroines, he was like, "Oh, you caught me. Time to delete myself." And as you see, he deleted himself, and then it sent them in a portal back to where he's actually at. And then they took a portal somewhere else. It was a little crazy, but I don't mind because the dialogue's so snappy and the art is gorgeous, bro. But I was a little confused with exactly how the portal worked and how they beat
It
him
was,
just
and
because
then
they
like
found him.
the ending was like we're here with these crazy people, like this crazy family, and she chooses to not kill one of them, but bob him on the head, and she's like, "Hey, for investigation purposes," and like drags him off. But then they're like, you know, either right behind her or like know what's going. I don't know, like hot on her trail. I don't know. It was a weird last couple of pages, but I immensely enjoyed like the middle of the comic. I'll say that.
Yeah,
And like the
yeah,
transitions in art, the art here is like, dude, she's killing it.
top
I
notch, bro.
feel it. Yeah,
Yeah,
really.
she's become one of my new favorites. I'm not. Do I have it? But I knew I had seen her artwork somewhere elsewhere. I don't have the series on hand, but what was it called? Rain by, I think, Joe Hill, and Bohr wrote it, but she was the artist on it. And I knew I'd seen her artwork elsewhere, but I just discovered this little. This is a Homesick Pilots variant
Oh
with
shit.
Zoe on art.
Yeah, it's got the
So I
same
love her
vibe.
detail.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, bro.
she's I love it. Definitely become one of my new favorites.
Yeah, she's
But
so like she's
I
honestly super versatile, and I feel like she could do a whole lot more if she wanted to. Like
oh
some of
yeah,
these, it looks like
she's
she
got
does
like
with ease. Like the one abstract panel, like I was like, damn, that's crazy because it looked like some Sienkiewicz here, bottom right. Like it just
yes,
comes
yeah,
out of
yeah. I got so
nowhere. Like look how
yep.
she does the dude's jaw or whatever, like his teeth and the mask or whatever, and like how it juts out and homegirl's hair, like that was so like radical to me. I'm like, damn, that's
Yeah,
sick. But it was just like that one panel where you're like, and then it goes to like the crazy chainsaw, and you're left kind of like still thinking about it afterwards. I just kind of I kind of appreciate how it was just like one and done like that, just like a nice little morsel for you to marinate on, and then keep it moving. I don't know.
You know Ted McKeever?
I do not, bro.
Okay, if you can you go back to that last panel with the abstract?
Yeah.
It's not entirely, but it gives me like Sienkiewicz, Ted McKeever vibes. Ted McKeever, I am not entirely familiar with his work, but his style is very similar to Sienkiewicz, like very abstract. He did some Elseworlds books that I have, DC obviously, and I believe he worked on some Matrix comics for the Wachowskis. But
shit. Okay.
what was his? But no, it's just if someone out there knows Ted McKeever and you see this, tell me if you get Ted McKeever vibes from this one.
Warren says McKeever's working Taboo is insane. Word.
Warren, do you get McKeever vibes, bro? But no,
Warren can probably give me a better. It's like, I don't know. There's not other like. I don't know. There's other artists like I feel that are more better compared to than Sienkiewicz there. You know what I mean? I feel like I don't know. What's the guy who does Copra? I kind of get that vibe. That indie comic Copra. Fife.
I can't.
Thief. Fiffe. Marcel or Thinker, whatever. I kind of get those vibes from it. Yeah. Hernandez.
I gotta check them out.
Word. All right. So, yeah, a good first pick, bro. I thought you had really great books this week. All things told, I know we haven't got to all of them, but yeah, man. All right. So first, I guess with me, we'll go. Let's go Incredible Hulk, dude. Nick Klein's triumphant return with Ghost Rider. Now, did the story move along a whole lot? No? Yeah, some great covers. I can't tell you who did these. Oh, I think that's LaRocca.
Is that LaRocca?
Yeah, that's LaRocca.
Wow, that's
LaRocca on the right. Yeah. Then you got the Knights in, and then Nick Klein's got a wraparound variant on the right. I guess it's going to come out with the other half. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's like a Mr. Garcin variant. But it's like, I wish I could zoom in on it. It's got all these images of the Hulk that are made up. You know what I mean? That like make up his form. Which is pretty dope.
Yeah.
All right, but yeah, Nick Klein's triumphant return here. We still got these monsters popping up every which way. We do get some good conversation between Bruce and the girl about, the commonalities they share, I guess, running away from the things that they're running away from, I guess, together. Like they're both running away from pain, but at the same time they're sharing that pain together, trying to navigate these extreme changes in their life together. This worked a little bit for me, but like the story is not, I feel like is not like we've gotten this whole like these crazy monsters there's an uprising against the Hulk and they're out to get him. They want, they need the Hulk for this thing, but they've kind of used this girl to give these like human banner moments with, but like overall that like I wish the story would kind of get a move on compared to what he's doing in like Green Lantern War Journal and the story he's telling there in 3 or 4 issues. Like this really seems like Marvel wanted him to stall it out for as long as he could. Like give us a Man-Thing battle, give us a Ghost Rider battle. Not that they haven't been gnarly, but at the same time, I don't know. Like I felt like the Travel Foreman issues were just kind of treading water. But this was an incredible return by Klein. Like he really knocked it out of the park.
But I wonder. Oh my bad. No, I was gonna say I wonder if like I guess I am kind of defending it, but I wonder if it's because of it's like the whole road adventure nature of the story kind of applies itself to like one and done issues. You know what I'm saying? Like they find an adventure along the way of their overall goal. Kind of like Supernatural, the first season was very not. It was there was no really like theme until like the very end. Like the first half of like season one is very like, oh, we beat this monster, we'll drive to the next town, beat the next one, and it was like kind of wrapped up in one episode. I mean, I feel like that's what he's kind of going for with the deviation with Travel Foreman issues. But maybe it's not exactly. I'm not defending it, but I'm wondering if that's what he's going for. You know, like since it's a road trip adventure shit.
No, I mean you get like in like the little bit of the PTSD thing that he was talking about with John and the
Right.
John Stewart in the Green Lantern book. You get a little bit with here, like this guy here is dealing with these demons, and he's he's crying in his car, saying the things I did in the war were not me, and he's trying to get by with like this saying that he's taught to himself. But little moments like that are good, but ultimately, like the story and um where we're going doesn't move forward that much. Anyway, they come upon an encampment where they're going to spend the night, but Bruce doesn't want to spend the night too close to them, for obvious reasons, to keep them safe, he says. But yeah, the end of this comic is like the full on payoff. This ridiculous double splash transformation page, which might be up there with the best Hulk transformation splashes ever, I would say. I mean, just an incredible.
Yeah, that's
I don't know what more you could ask for. It's horrific. It's got. I love the sound effects, the colors. Just I don't know. Immortal Hulk had some amazing ones, but this one is right up there with the tops. I think this is just incredible, man.
Yo, I discovered some Nick Klein New Warriors covers the other day. I'll show them to you after the show, but yeah, interesting that trajectory. That's wild because he's
Could you
nowhere
see it?
near
Could you
this
see
on
it
those
back then?
covers.
No, yeah. Like I feel like Thor was like really his announcement. I know he was a Stormbreakers guy too, wasn't he, for Marvel?
Yes, he
Yeah,
his
I think
he
he
did
still is. Strangely enough, like I think I still see
yeah, he's one of the.
Nick. Yeah, that's weird.
I think his Deadpool with Scotty Young is what got him the Stormbreakers, and then once he was on Thor, and then because that like Stormbreakers and Thor kind of happened around the same time, that's when it kind of shot him into the upper echelon.
Yeah, that Thor. I remember that Thor was like, man, with Donny Cates, that was a hot commodity when it first dropped. But yeah, then we get this amazing shot of Hulk with Banner and the bloody puddle beneath him and reflection. It's so fantastic, dude. And then all of a sudden Hulk starts getting, hellfire bullets to the side of his face. And then, dude, look at that double splash.
Yo, who's the colorist for this issue? Like, the art is beautiful too, but that
yeah, no, you're completely
back
right,
panel of Ghost Rider riding up with the pink sunset or whatever, that shit was beautiful. Yeah.
Just unbelievable, man. But I just remember laughing like when I saw this, when I turned this page, like it was just like, good God.
Is this a new Ghost Rider?
So I don't know. That was the question I was going to ask our audience. I'm like, there's elements of this Ghost Rider that look familiar, like the kind of old school jacket and such. But like, I think that was true to the original Ghost Rider. But like this, the whole thing, and then we get towards the end of the issue. He says, Hulk says, "You're like no Ghost Rider I've ever seen before," and he's like, "I just protect the girl." What he said, he called him ugly, and he said he looks like you're gonna spend a night in hell. I like how we got the Akira bike slide.
Yeah.
like super
Yes,
sick.
sir.
But dude,
Iconic.
just a great like for a comic that was kind of losing energy and momentum. Nick Klein's crazy ass art just I feel like completely reinvigorated. Even though the story is still, I feel like stagnant and kind of treading water. Dude, I mean these last 3 or 4 pages kind of make up for it. But yeah, man, I don't
I
know. Let
gotta
me
go
see if I
back
can
and read.
find out who the colorist is for you on that real quick. Go ahead.
I have to go back and read Immortal Hulk, but I felt like when I didn't finish it, but I remember reading the first couple or like first two, and I felt like it was kind of a slow burner.
It is
Immortal
for
Hulk.
sure. I think that's saying it lately.
Okay.
Yeah. Hold on one second. All right, so colorist is Matt Wilson. So shout out to Matt Wilson.
Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, bro. What do you want to go with next? Uncanny Spider-Man or Holy or wait, what was your other one? Uncanny Spider-Man.
Okay. Spider-Man. Oh, the Void Rivals. But let's go
Yeah.
with Void Rivals.
I'm sorry. I thought
Number
Void
6.
Rivals was mine for a sec because I love this one. Hell yeah, dude. This was great. I'll let you introduce it.
Yeah, this another another fantastic issue by Kirkman and De Felice. I cannot pronounce his last name. But I thought this was kind of like to be honest, when I was coming into this issue, I was like, oh, they're wrapping it up because Transformers and GI Joe are gearing up. But that is not the case. It looks like this is going to be continuing on. I'm curious as to how long this is going to go. I don't, I didn't look too much into the announcements when Kirkman announced this, so I don't know if he announced it as like an ongoing or like a maxi miniseries or something like that. But it's still a fun book, for a universe I'm not too familiar with. I found myself like super engaged with these characters, like so Lila and Darak, I think is his name. Very rarely will I remember new characters' names. I can remember the look, I know who they are, but it's hard for me to distinguish the names. So the fact that I can remember Solila and Derek, and they have personalities to me, I think is a very big testament to the greatness going on in this book. It's not game changing, but it's just fun, bro. Like it's super fun. It's cool to see them building a real cohesive.
It is.
Yes,
It's like the world building is crazy and so rich, and the storytelling is so rich. The characters, like, how nobody's really being forgotten, like how everybody's getting the camera time, so to speak. You know what I mean? But yeah, I loved it. We essentially get our jailbreak here.
Yes.
Dude, you know
this getting broken out.
The arc. This is the end of the issue. This isn't coming back till March. The next issue.
Oh, that's a break.
So they're gonna do us like Saga, yeah. Which I'm okay with because I think I think it's more long term than a lot of people think. You know what I mean? Especially the things they're doing and they're setting up here. Which I respect. I think they got a. Everybody says in Hickman we trust. I think Kirkman has a really brilliant vision for what's going on with these properties and how to use them in a way that they can, because success in these comics means success for them possibly writing movies and having their hand in Hollywood productions, and the Invincible show is already taken off on Amazon, so I don't know, a lot of big things.
Yeah, my man. I remember when I think it was like coming into the second season or midway through the second season, he was talking about how he's got ideas for 10 years worth of Walking Dead seasons. And I was at the time, I'm like, bro, the way the odds are stacked against these people, I don't see them lasting for 5 seasons, to be honest. Like, I'm be surprised if they don't all die off. But he did it. Don't get me wrong, they lost a little steam along the way, but he still had a massive, like, a lot of people still tuning in every week for Walking Dead up until the last season. And the fact that he's got all these spinoff shows coming out of that are still doing well, like you said, Kirkman understands like the business side, the consumption, and like how to
Well,
take
look at his comic book
some
runs too, like Invincible, Walking Dead. They were huge, like enormously long
long
runs. Like he knows how to structure. He knows how to structure things out like long term and really, I think ahead and
yeah.
brilliant ways that I think is going to serve him well as like a studio head type position. But I'm excited to see what comes of that.
You know, if God forbid anything happens to Todd Father at a certain point, I could see like Kirkman being the next guy to spearhead Image. Like he's the one that takes the reins. They probably wouldn't let that happen just because of like the chain of
Agreed.
hierarchy. If there's, but the fact that I didn't realize how big it was back then, but as the years go on, it's like, bro, this man was maybe, I'm sure he was a little longer, but he hadn't really had that long of a hot streak in comics when they made him a partner of Image. Like no one had done that before. These are all the guys, the Image dudes from the '90s that started up together that were the partners. So he was kind of like this outsider. He had already worked for Marvel. I don't think he worked for DC, but he had already worked for their competition. Like those guys are for the most part anti-Marvel. So the fact that he was made a partner way back in 2009, he was a young dude too. Super, he
Yeah,
was like around.
Todd always affectionately called him like the Image baby. Like Kirkman's like the proto. I
He's a
can't do
product.
it. I'm not even going to try to do a Todd accent.
Yeah,
But he's like, yeah, the proto. Like he's the kid who grew up on the Image. Like you can tell, like Todd's had a soft spot for him for sure, and I think rightly
yeah.
so. Like, dude, I think that would be a great like you said. God forbid something should happen to him, but I think that's the reason why he put him in such a elevated him so quickly and has him like with his own brand and all that, because if he can't do it while I'm still in charge of Image, I want him to have his own thing, and then maybe like be able to take it over when I'm not able to. I would definitely want that guy in charge of my IP.
Yeah, his passion.
Yeah,
Bro. You feel his passion in his works. But yeah. Back to our Prison Break. So Lila is getting broken out by a rebellious cell, I guess you would call them, of her own people. This cell believes that they should be. I forget. I didn't remember them too well. I know they're Aragonian and Zertonians, but I don't know what Solila and them are. But Solila's people, whether they're Aragonian or Zertonian, they think that we should be able to intermingle with the other species. And these guys are, I guess they're both kind of like what the Daxamites, Kryptonians and Daxamites are kind of like they're both xenomorph, not xenomorphs, but what is that? Xenophobic, where it's like we xenomorphs, aliens, but they're both xenophobic to the point where it's like, let's focus on our planet. Let's not worry about intermingling with others. They both have that concept where they just don't want to fuck with each other. But yeah, the cell believes the opposite of that. I know I'm going on a tangent, but they break her out. She's like, yo, why are you guys breaking me out? They show that Solila has history with the person who's broken her out. But she meets Derek and she's like, oh shit, you're the one who busted me out. Why? And she's like, you would have done the same for me. And she's like, no, I wouldn't. He's like, well,
yeah. I love
the
comedy between them. And then like when he's like, like they essentially get paired together, and he's like, you're down to help me, right? And she's like, it's better than staying on this planet and being left to die or whatever. And he's like, that's the spirit. Like it's like I love the back and forth between them. But I love how they bring like the Transformers element in with these. With homeboy like reporting the ship and them to the Zertonian, and like you find out the Zertonians have a past chapter to play in the history of the Transformers, essentially, right? And that they're gonna the powers that be are trying to cover that up. But yeah, they have to make they got a ship all lined up. They're cleared to go. They've just got to make it to the ship. So they got to make it basically through through town, more or less, to the ship. Yeah, of course, things get compromised. The little kid who was helping them out.
Ratted them out.
They ratted him out. Said that he'd find their parent. They'd find his parents, and I love that moment too, where he's like, "I'm sorry," and she's like, "You know what? I understand.
I
It's
understand.
okay." And like he's crying or whatever. Like that was a cool moment. Anyway, like
panels. This is random, but I got Dune vibes from like the design of the aesthetic of the outfits and the layout of like the buildings in the world. Like there's a panel coming up, but when we get to it, I'll point out why it reminded me of Dune. But this was a super dope action sequence.
Hell yeah. Like she hops on the back, like they jump on the motorcycle to make their getaway.
Boom, boom, boom. I love that shot.
And so at the end here they kind of have no options left. They're going so far north to a place that's basically a wasteland that nobody goes to because it means certain death. Like the authorities that won't even pursue them in there, but they go anyway.
This is the Dune stuff. This is what reminded me of Dune.
Totally.
Arrakis when they were on a
right. And it's like the guy's like, no, we're not going to accept that. We're going to send a hunter after him. We're going to send our best because somebody who can track and make sure that they're dead. So I love the world building. Like you feel like there's so much more to come.
Yes.
Especially connecting it with the Energon and the Transformer thing. I'm really excited to see where it goes, even as like a casual fan of the Transformers franchise. But yeah, I guess issue 7 coming in March.
It's been great.
Yeah, it's been a great so far.
I'll allow it. For greatness, you gotta allow.
Let it breathe a little bit.
To breathe.
That's not too long.
Yeah.
It's less than 6 months. So. Oh yeah. All right. Well, I'll go with Holy Roller number 1. Remember Andy Samberg, the comedian Andy Samberg, is writing comic books now, but this was a freaking blast, dude. I think one of the first titles under the Giant Generator imprint that Rick Remender started is ND1. Of course, all manner of pretty as dope variants as you can have about a superhero based around of kick-ass bowling ball, I guess. But yeah, dude, what'd you think about this one, man? This was pretty wild.
First, he keeps the Big Lebowski shout out right there.
Yeah,
we got John Goodman's Big Lebowski character in the corner on the right hand panel at the very bottom. I love that. But this was I'm biased. This is an example of me being biased, but it's Remender. It's dope. He's a bowling superhero, bro. It's like Kick-Ass meets Mystery Men. You remember the bowler in Mystery Men, but he just has like this kick-ass vibe where it's in a more realistic setting. This whole issue, I just kept thinking that's Andy Samberg. Like that's Andy Samberg. They were like, I think this is a story idea that Andy Samberg he wants to turn it into a movie, or maybe he had an idea for a movie, and because Keanu Reeves did the same thing with Berserker. Like it's easier for story treatment. Because Berserker on paper, it probably sounds like as a movie treatment, it probably seems like you've seen it before, you've heard it before. It's like Highlander meets something else. But as a comic book with his name behind it, it gets a little bit more attention. I think this is a good example of that, where it's like maybe this could have been like a movie treatment with Andy Samberg playing some kooky bowling vigilante. But as a comic book, it gets a little bit more attention. And if it gets popular, it gets more options to get optioned for a movie. But that being said, it was a blast. Fun comic book where like it just takes a concept you don't think should work. And you're like, you know what? I can get behind this, bro. I want to see how deadly this man is with this bowling ball. Like we can get some cool shit out of this. But our man's is just a slacker who's kind of been ashamed of his family's
works
past.
in 4 arcs. Like, the shameful memory at the beginning of getting embarrassed at the bowling alley as his dad wins like the $500 trophy, then like him being a shithead out on the seas of Japan. We definitely get, I thought some of this comedy writing here with the old man was definitely Andy Samberg. Felt like Andy Samberg vibes like all the way up. with the quips and stuff that are in the middle of the comic. But yeah, goes of course goes back home with his estranged father. Dad gives him the bowling ball. You know, like I don't know. How would you describe his hometown foes, bro? His hometown arch rivals. Anyway, they notice he's home. They roll up on him. Bro takes a bowling ball out and is like an absolute menace. Not that he doesn't get some in return. But yeah, goes to town on these dudes with the bowling ball. And like
sorry,
that's kind of the end of our episode. Yeah, go ahead.
That part was not weak, but I mean, I know it's a comic book, but it seemed a little far-fetched in the aspect where it's like these dudes beat his ass over 20 years later. All right, so the origin of why they beat his ass over 20 years later was because he was doing really good in Paperboy at the arcade machine, and the dude who beats his ass owned the arcade. His dad owned the arcade machine. It was like, yo, I'll make a bet to you. I'm the best in Paperboy, and if I prove it to you, you're never allowed to step foot in this arcade again. And so our main character gets embarrassed because, as Stu was saying, his dad had just won a trophy for bowling, and they're like making fun of him for it and like calling his dad corny. And so Andy Samberg's character gets embarrassed and like storms out. And so the dude's like, yo, you're forfeiting? That still counts. Don't you ever step foot in here again. And then the book fast forwards to 20 years later. Andy Samberg's back in town. These guys have not seen him for 20 years, but they're willing to kill this man.
You won't believe who just walked in here. Yeah. Like, bro, really?
Because he didn't play paper. That's the only thing that I was like, that's a little bit of a stretch. These guys are really some evil shits, you know. If they're willing to kill someone over Paperboy, like
that's a good point.
But you know, you want to have
about that, yeah.
Would have got this cool shit with the bowling ball though, so I allow it. Yeah, I couldn't write better, so you know it was fun. Yeah. It was fun.
It was fun. It was a fun ride. Absolutely, hell yeah, oh yeah. Paperboy was frustrating as hell. Yeah, to my memory, wasn't that game like super hard to play? And so to be good at it was, you know, an accomplishment for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hell yeah! All right, let's move to Sounds like good times in the 80s. Yeah, hell yeah. It reminded me, they had elements of Kingpin for sure. If anybody has seen that classic movie.
Was that Woody Harrelson and McQuaid, Dennis Quaid's brother?
I love that scene when
Randy Quaid.
Woody Harrelson, you know, is getting used to life on the Amish farm. Comes up with a pail of milk. I milked the cow. We don't have a cow. We got a bull.
Yeah. That's not milk.
Oh my god, so good. All right, bro. Uncanny Spider-Man, I think is your last pick of the night, dude. I love this book. We were talking about it backstage.
Yeah.
What a great, and especially if you're a Nightcrawler fan, man, this is the book for you. Yes. But yeah, we get a real crossover Spidey, I guess, in a way, right here.
Yeah, it's a nice looking.
It starts with Kurt kind of watching what happens on the rooftop as these people think they've captured these, you know, the city residents think they've outed a mutant, which turns out to be not a mutant at all. Then Mystique shows up. I love this though. Like, lets a freaking missile fly at the crowd just as the Sentinel is, you know, the citizen is guilty of nothing, but the Orchis Sentinel is like, "Thank you, citizens. We'll take this, you know, citizen back for questioning, just, you know, as a mutant sympathizer, just in case." At the same time that Mystique fires this missile, Kurt bamfs down there, catches the missile, like aims it at the Sentinel's head, and destroys it. I thought that was like super dope.
Yo, I love the dialogue right before this where they've got the mob. People have the pizza guy, delivery guy, and they're like, "He's a mutant supporter. I saw him dropping flowers at the tree, the door," and he's like, "They're my best tippers, bro." Like, he's like, "That's why I was paying respects. I just lost my best tippers, bro." Like, I'm not a mutant, but it was just, you know, it was a cool little comedic moment. Yeah, but no, great, bro, man. I was saying this behind camera before live, but make keep Creepy Crawler around, bro. Just Nightcrawler on his own doing a superhero thing, like Stu said, him grabbing the missile and teleporting it into the Sentinel's face. Like, you know how many cool moments you could get? Like, Nightcrawler's always, and we'll get to that, but it's because he's always, him and Peter share a similarity, and they're always so burdened with caring about others around them. But Nightcrawler's always so there for everyone else when he's on teams and X-Men that he doesn't really get time to shine like that. Like, I like seeing him on his own. It makes him kind of realize his full potential, you know. I feel like they're trying to do that with Iceman, because we know Iceman. So, I mean, if you read X-Men, you know Iceman is an Omega 11 mutant who's never living up to his potential. I feel like they're trying to do that with his solo series. It's not really achieving that, but because they've had a few solo series for Iceman over the years, you know, beyond this most current one. But with Nightcrawler, I think they got something here, man. Like, you know, like I would love to see him. Maybe he still messes with the X-Men, but keep him as Creepy Crawler. Like, he comes back and helps the X-Men when they need him, if he can. But for most part, he's on his own doing the Creepy Crawler thing. I think that would be super dope. But yes.
But yeah, I guess after his run-in with Mystique, he like basically is trying to help her. And her enormous.
He wants to
yeah, go ahead.
Because she's I don't know what's going. I'm not quite clear with that. Is Mystique like? Does she realize what's really going on, or is she kind of still kind of like shell shocked and thinks she's lost her child, or is she just being
like shell shocked? I don't know, but at the same time, I don't know. Like, that's a good point, but it seemed like shell shocked. That's the sense I got from the comic.
Okay.
But yeah, I liked how they used this kind of text page to give us an overview of the fairly significant conversation. Yeah, that went on between them. That was a cool use of that, you know, gimmick that has been used so much in this, you know, House of X, Powers of X age. Yeah, Vulture, I guess, is kind of leading the Orcus show here. Silver Sable is still the you know, undercover agent working double time, but you know, he's like, you're starting to smell like your target, and of course that's because she's been sleeping with him. Yeah, exactly. They're having dinner on top of the Brooklyn Bridge, but she tells him, you know, it's Kurt, that basically it's over. You can't keep bamfing me away to great, amazing romantic locations of doing this. Then he does just that.
Yo, quick question. Did certain face shots of Sable right here gave me like Frank Quitely, Emma Frost vibes from New X-Men?
Yeah, for sure.
A little bit.
And it's like, it's so well written, this this back and forth between them. Like, you know,
yo, that panel,
read it out loud verbatim, but it was just, it's so well done. Go ahead.
No, this really got, not really got to me, but that panel of them up at the top on the right hand where they're like embracing, hugging, about to kiss, when she says something like, there are no coffee breaks for a good heart. I was like, you know, that's so corny and deep at the same time, bro. Like, you know, you don't get, when you care like that, you don't get breaks off, bro. You can't just hit the light switch and you don't care. Like, it's a never ending job, man. Like, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know, but I'd imagine that's how.
No, she has this real poetic, like, realness to the, or approach to the situation, you know what I mean? And you know, the reality of them two being in a relationship. Of course, she comes out of this like somebody has uncovered the fact that, you know, that she's been sleeping with him, and Nightcrawler in the meantime is trying to help Mystique. This part of the issue I didn't appreciate. It's like he comes up to Mystique and she's like, "Oh, let's talk," and they do. In the first
go find out what they said
in the first issue of X-Men's Origins or whatever. Anyway, we get back with, like, the end of the issue is Kurt meeting up with Sable again, but this time it's like it's a trap, and they got our boy. Orcus has got her boy.
She got her team. He made a convincing argument. He was like, "Yo, you're getting pleasure mixed in with the job. Focus on the job. The job comes first." And she was like, "All right, fine." And double cross Nightcrawler, but I have a feeling she's gonna end up busting him out of here. So we'll see next issue.
Oh yeah. just like they said in Poison Man, never trust a big butt and a smile. Every time.
Poison.
Poison. All right. Last book of the night, yeah, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right, sorry. Batman Off-World. This was my pick. Jason Aaron writing Batman. Sign me up. Doug Mahnke, who just killed it with Jeff Lemire and the Swamp Thing Green Hell book, and just how much great art has Doug Mahnke done? I think Final Crisis there's a lot of him in that, and some great variant covers all the way through. Scotty Young.
Hey, yo, that's Scotty. I gotta get. That's.
I love Scotty's little rooftop pipes, like stove. Those little stovetop pipe things. I love those.
I'd love to see a Batman book with Scotty Young drawing Batman like that or something. Do you remember a few years ago, Dustin Nguyen was doing like the little Gotham books or something like that, where he's drawing like Gotham tales and like his little cute anime style. I'd like to see a book like that with Scotty Young doing like DC animated. Like I've never seen Scotty Young do an official DC character, so that's kind of impressive to me. Like I usually I'm not one. I know he does a lot of the cutesy Marvel characters, and I'm not knocking them because I know there's a big audience for that. I'm not particularly a big fan of those. I feel like they're too simple for Scotty Young. I know he's capable of much more, but this one I really dig this. It kind of reminds me of his Rocket the Raccoon stuff, which I think was pretty damn good.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed that one. All right, so it starts off with the Batwing is being sucked up into this alien craft. We're in the Slag Galaxy, which is 8 parsecs or metaparsecs off Earth or whatever. We're way off Earth. Batman, of course, is hiding in the hiding in the ceiling. He gets a drop on these two. Homeboy sends in the robots. The robots also have trouble. We get this cool chainsaw moment. Monkey's art in this is nuts. The colors are great. But yeah, Batman takes the chainsaw to the robots. Eventually, he has to face this commander, and he gets his ass whooped. He hits him. He hits him once. You can see here in the bottom right. He hits him once with 10,000 volts, and his little his fist thing lights up. But then you don't even see him get hit. He says he gets hit 3 times. He's surprised he even makes it out. Then you meet a Tamaranian, which is Starfire's planet. He's locked up with these people who are basically kept prisoner and turned into warriors. And that's what he's basically going to make himself a warrior to be able to defeat this alien race that he's kind of been taken captive by. But it's cool. He meets this punch bot. He tells him that he wants him to teach him kind of every fighting style that he's ever come across in the galaxy. And he's basically going to be Batman. He's going to figure out how to beat this thing in hand-to-hand combat, because that's basically how they fight their way out of these situations. There's not a whole lot of weapons around. Meanwhile, it's weird. Now, at the end of this issue, you get this flashback to Gotham, and it's basically Batman Year One, where you get this narration that, a year ago the bat flew through the window, and I dedicated my life or whatever. He's chasing this crime boss on the rooftop, and he's been running through them all. And the crime boss is like, I knew you've been coming through me. I got this muscle, this help from out of town, way out of town. And it's it looks like the same commander on the ship that he had just been on from the Slag Galaxy. Dude tells him, you wouldn't last a daybreak on my planet. I'm going to eat you for lunch. And Batman wasn't ready. He hits him once. Obviously, we all know how that's going to go. Anyway, it goes back to the ship. This is the conversation he has with the punch bot. I love, and the punch bot's like, you mean punch bot can punch back? And he's like, yeah, I want you to give it to me. And so like the end of the issue is kind of Batman training for this off-world threat. But yeah, just good old gritty Jason Aaron writing, some great art by Monkey, awesome colors, cool world building in one issue. I really enjoyed this one. It was dope. Just to see, like, I'm a huge Jason Aaron fan, so just to see him on Batman, I'm count me in.
Yeah, I don't really know any DC work. I know he's it's Vertigo, with Scalped, but I'm not familiar if he's ever done any DC proper. So I don't know if this is his first foray.
Yeah, he's doing
but
this, and he's got he's got like an Action Comics run coming up soon. But yeah, that's a good.
Oh, okay.
Because it's more like the Marvel stuff, right? Like it's Wolverine and the X-Men and Thor and Punisher and yeah, man. But this one was good.
Oh, chill out. If you like some Doug Mankey Batman, Tomasi it was not it's solid. It's solid. His detective run a few years ago? Mankey did quite a good portion of the run with Tomasi. And he did quite a bit. It was him, Gleason, and Jorge Jimenez did quite a bit for Tomasi's Action Comics / Superman runs when they're going on. If you're digging his artwork like that, when you want more of this, there's more out there. But I didn't know this was coming out. I kind of forgot this was coming out this week. I thought it was like further along down the line. So I'm definitely gonna be sticking with this one, bro.
Starfire is a freak, yeah. Yeah, man. I don't know. This is a Bruce Wayne Batman, but it's like an Elseworlds type story. Is the best way I could describe it. I don't know if it's officially Black Label from them, but it's definitely an Elseworlds type vibe. But all the same, it's going to be a wild ride. I don't know how many issues they got planned for this bad boy, but hold on, let me see if I can.
Well, how many pages was it? Regular size.
Yeah, I think it was regular size. Yeah.
Okay. I could see them doing like
I got the
5,
Virgin
6
variant
issues
right here. I picked this one up from the LCS.
Nice.
Yeah.
How much was that one? Virgin variant.
$4.99.
Okay, not bad at all. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's it's worth it, dude.
It's sick, dude. It really is. Like the more you look at it, like the detail, it's nuts. But yeah, so that was my final pick for the week. Looking forward to next week. We got our brother Big Herm on the show for the first time. We've been trying to schedule Herm I've been trying to get Herm on the show since we first had the show, way back on Instagram.
Busy man.
It never worked out because Wednesdays were always he was getting to sleep early for work, so we're gonna be able to have our brother on next Tuesday night. I'm excited for it. Talking about some of these books that we got coming out. Yeah, Detective, Evan Cagle continuing to action. I haven't read Something Is Killing the Children. Herm brought that up. That one might be in the rotation. I haven't read that in quite a while, dude. I think I have like the first 2 trades, and I haven't read it since then. Moon Knight I need to catch up on. I want to catch up on before we get to this Last Days of Moon Knight event. I don't want to be behind the 8 ball on that. Miles has been thorough. I've heard if you're a Green Arrow fan, that's a good book for you. Flash Diodato's been killing it. Want to get back on that one. Predator vs. Wolverine is a book I'm ashamed to say I haven't even read yet. When that came out, I was super excited for it. I haven't, I guess, heard people excited enough about it, if that makes sense.
I was going to say, me personally, I know people enjoy the first issue, but I thought it was, it's something they put out. I think they could have done better with the creative, the artist choices, to be honest. It probably gets a little better in the ongoing issue. I haven't read issue 2, but I'm assuming that like they're gonna switch up the artist every issue. Like it's not the same. Even like Greg Land's only 1 issue. He's not coming back for issue 2 or anything. But with that being said, the story didn't. It was cool. It was. It's not. You don't feel guilty for not being wowed by it. It's not deserved of a wow reaction.
Yeah. Batman Brave and the Bold. I guess they're going to continue going with this and just have you know, a bunch of different short stories, or you know, a bunch of different minis going on. Captain America continues Straczynski's run. I've been enjoying that so far. 2 years in.
Gotta read this
Penguin
shit.
Tom Kent's run.
Penguin.
Also, yeah, there's the X-Men Blue Origins where you can find out what Mystique and Kurt talked about. And of course, Gang War begins for Marvel. They also got a Luke Cage book coming out.
Yo, who's the Spider Woman team, real quick? Oh, okay, no one I've heard of, but I'll check it out. I love Jessica Drew.
Yeah, Power Girl #3, Green Lantern, Alan Scott.
That's a good Gary Frank cover there, bro.
Yeah. I like that one. Firepower #29, Marvel Zombies. I had to put on Conan the Barbarian. I really like that first arc that we read with Nick on the show. That was great. Local Man's been one of the best books of the year. I completely agree with whatever that comicbook.com at the top. It really has. And that book, you know, it got talked about a little bit when it first came out, but that's been kind of a sleeper book of the year. I highly recommend that one.
I gotta check that out.
Especially if you grew up reading comics in the 90s or anywhere around there.
Yeah.
It's got
send me issue 1. I've still got to read it.
Yeah. Swan Songs, dude. This one looks real special. I think it's going to be told through collages. The artwork, it just looks like one of those unique ideas. And look at that cover. So sick. It just looks like one of those unique ideas that, you know, Prince is able to pull off with his collaborator of choice. Sometimes this time is Ekman Lawn, who I forget what he's done variants for him before, and I forget what other book they worked on before. But that one is one of my most anticipated. I think that one's going to be very cool. Kaya #13, Manny put me onto that one. I really appreciated that. The Schlub #4 is a book I enjoyed at first. I would like to get back to. Giant Robot Hellboy, just a great cover. I love that. Ronin Book 2, of course, nice. Frank Miller. Yeah. Drive Like Hell #2. All right, so this week we got Thursday night Talk to Me. Tomorrow night
is it
Stephen Fable?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's Wednesday.
It's Thursday night. My bad. I had.
Wednesday is it Thursday?
Night. Yeah, it's Thursday night.
Verno, if you still here, clarify, because I thought we moved it to Wednesday.
Oh, did he?
I might have misread it, but
okay.
Yeah, let's go. I'm pretty sure. I think it's he moved it to tomorrow night. Well,
right.
You got it.
I think I looked at his message and I wrote that into my slide. So you're probably right, bro. But yeah, let's go with tomorrow night, 9:30. The new A24 classic. That one looks great. Of course, Manny's got some amazing holiday horror fest videos up on spooky animated shows of the 90s, Real Ghostbusters, and how they ruined Xmas. It's been great. He also had one on the Tales from the Crypt show. Y'all check out at Nerdtastic News on YouTube. I didn't have new graphics for Nick, but you know, Nick's putting in that work every week with the new Comic Book Day haul, his FOC, and of course Nick at Night on Saturday nights. One of my favorite review shows. Y'all make sure you check out at Comic Culture on YouTube. Fable I don't believe has a show this Saturday, but y'all hit the rewind. Y'all did a great job, dude. Southern Comic Geeks Blaming. Holy hell, man! Those Nick Klein Hulk pages. Good lord. Yeah. Y'all put a great show on Saturday, dude. That was crazy.
Thank you.
Yeah, so y'all make sure you check out Fable _1_collection _down on YouTube. Yeah, and I think that will be it for us.
Nice little slaps.
Yeah, that's a panel of the day right there. Anything you want to say to the people, Link, before we get out of here, bro?
Thank you guys for tuning in. If you're here live, if you're watching on the rewind, thank you as well. catch you guys later.
Absolutely. Thank y'all for tuning in with us on our new time Tuesdays at 9:00. We will be here for the foreseeable future. Lynk, thank you for coming through as always. Everybody in the chat, Sheil, Eric, who else came through? Manny, Sal, Verno, Stanka, Warren, Herm. Thank everybody for coming out and hanging with us tonight. We appreciate y'all as always. Y'all be easy, y'all be safe. Happy holiday shopping out there for your loved ones, and we'll see y'all next week. Peace.